Hello everyone and welcome once again to Five Homes to Freedom. Today we have a very special guest that I'm going to interview. Louise has been a good friend of mine for almost 6 years now, and Louise is coming with a wealth of knowledge and experience over the years, and she's going to share some of her knowledge with us today. So Louise, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me here today.
Excellent. Well, Louise, I've worked with mentors in the past and coaches. Can you share with us a little bit about your past, and have you worked with mentors and coaches in the past as well?
I have. I was fortunate in my late teens. I picked up a book. It was a Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And I realized then that there were more to it, to our mind and how we can achieve things. And through that, I met Bob Proctor, and I took one of his seminars. And since then, I've had many mentors throughout my years. I am presently, again, being mentored by Bob Proctor along with his business partner, Sandy Gallagher. And I will continue to have mentors in all forms now and throughout my life.
Excellent. So you said that you were mentored, or you watched, or you had the opportunity to see Bob Proctor in your early 20s, is that right?
Yes.
So only about 15 years ago.
Thank you.
All right, so is it fair, this is something I've noticed over the years that, and it really bothers me, and it doesn't matter whether it's a course people take or an event or whatever, but I see 80% of people failing to achieve the goal that they set for themselves. And it's always bothered me to know and understand why. Now, I do have a little bit of enlightenment about that. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, who I highly recommend and really enjoy his teachings, he's quoted as saying that people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure, just by default. What do you think of that?
It's so true, because we have to be serious about change. People live in their comfort zones, and it's so easy to get into a routine and just do the same thing over and over and over again. And it doesn't even matter if it's the results we're not wanting, because we understand how to get this result. We just continue to do it, and there are ways to change that.
Yeah, just simply because it's comfortable, right? That people stay there.
Too comfortable.
And I can truly attest to this. I'll share, with the listeners here today, something that I haven't shared with too many people actually. In my early days, prior to being 40 years of age, I failed many times. And when I look back, I kick myself for some of the times I just gave up too quickly and too easily. And I now realize it was because the going got a little bit too tough, and I didn't like the uncomfortableness of it, and I was more comfortable in the environment that I was in. So I went back to that by default, and it didn't do me any service. I don't regret anything, but it certainly didn't do me a service at that point in time in my life, and I've since changed that. So is this something common that you see in many people, and why do you think they do that?
I just believe people, they don't even realize why they fail, or they have nowhere to look for the reason this failure keeps coming up. The understanding of where this failure comes, and believe me, failures aren't failures, they're just an experience to help you move forward.
Learning
but it's
opportunities.
Understanding that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Another quote that just came to mind is that people don't know what they don't know.
People don't.
Yeah.
There's so much.
Exactly.
Yes.
So for myself personally, I never had a mentor. I don't even think I knew what a mentor was until I was in my early 40s. And up until that point in time, I saw no value in them. Plus, they were expensive relative to my way of thinking at that time. They were expensive, but I'll be the first to admit, I had a very cheap mindset. So I didn't understand that, spend a little bit, you gain a lot, and it's not necessarily monetarily as well. So for me, my turning point happened when in my early 40s, both my parents passed away very suddenly. And it was a very deep awakening to me personally. And at that point in time, we only had $10,000 in savings. And I realized that I need to make massive change and I need to make it quick. And that's when I started to take courses. And by default, I was introduced to my very first mentor and it was a phone coach actually out of Florida. But the lessons that he taught me at that point in time were phenomenal. But the big point that I didn't even realize until recently, like in the past few years, was the turning point that caused me to take this massive action was a deep-rooted why. Can you touch on the why?
Your why motivator is your fuel. It gives you focus and commitment. And you will find with any successful people, they know their why. And they write it down and they look at it every day. And they make sure it's crystal clear in their mind. And as they're writing it down every day, it evolves into this crystal clear image. And it's just, you have to know your why, because you have to be able to get up in the morning and go all day with what your why is. You actually, in your lessons, teach a very good way as to learn how to know what your why is, because for a lot of people, a why is hidden very deeply, and you have to bring it to the surface to make it that passion and the achievement that you want and that you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And more often than not, this deep-rooted why is going to be suppressed deep in your emotions. And once you start to uncover it and discover it, it'll become very, very emotional for you.
And powerful.
And very, very powerful. And if it doesn't happen, you do the exercise and you don't uncover it the first time or the second time, don't get discouraged. I mean, it could be years before you truly uncover your true why. I mean, and for myself, still to this day, I'm still uncovering my true why. It changes.
It does.
It changes, and I become more passionate for a different reason. And that's the exciting part. But if you just give up and just accept whatever you think your why is, you're doing yourself a disservice. You got to keep looking for it because it's deep rooted and it is going to change.
I've had a lot of people help me with my whys and to get to that level as to what motivates and moves me forward.
Yeah.
It's very worth it.
So I expect that there's probably going to be some people watching this thinking that with the experience that I have now and what I've achieved, why would I continue looking for or seeking out mentors and coaches in my life? And actually, excuse me, you are coaching me through the Thinking into Results program that Joanne and I are actually both going through it, because I know that there's still something within me that's holding me back from achieving whatever the next level is. And we all want to achieve to the next level. So once you set a goal and you reach that goal, you're not going to be satisfied. You're going to want to look for the next goal, and why is that going to push you to that next goal? So there's always something more. That's what I've discovered as well. And going through the program with you now, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much. It's a wonderful program, and it's a very uncomfortable program.
It does take you places.
Uncomfortable in a good way, but it's definitely helping us discover our deep-rooted beliefs that we don't even realize. Some of them are obvious, but some of them we have no idea we have. And Bob Proctor, he talks about them as being paradigms, and I'm sure many people don't even know what a paradigm is. Can you maybe expand on that a little bit for us?
I can. Paradigms control us. A lot of them, whether they're good or bad, it's just paradigms that are within us. And if you're not familiar with the word paradigm, that's okay. What it is, it's information that's programmed into our subconscious mind, and we believe it. And this is where our belief system is in our subconscious mind. That's also where our fears rest. So when you think back on what you've been taught For example, let's say
Oh, I've got an example.
your youth.
No, I've got an example. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an NHL hockey player. Is it too late? Maybe a little bit. Okay, but
But
when I was a child, that's what I wanted to do. And you know what
And?
I heard? You can't do that. You're not
Exactly
good enough
right.
to do that.
exactly right. There are so many examples, and it doesn't matter whether it's about money, whether it's about what you want to do. Perhaps it's an education you wanted to get, and somebody told you that you were not good enough, or it wasn't secure enough, or it was all the it's not enough. And you were told that so many times that you began to believe it. And when you take it from your mind into your subconscious and you begin to feel it, it becomes a paradigm and you begin to live by it. And you don't have to.
Exactly.
You change that paradigm.
Yeah.
You make it work for you. This is your life. You should create it. Don't live by circumstance. Create the circumstance and live by it.
Yep. No, well put. Absolutely. So, obviously, you have a wealth of knowledge and experience in this. If people want to contact you, are you opposed to them reaching out to you?
Not at all.
I didn't think so. Well, when they do contact you, though, I mean, you're going to give them all kinds of pressure to sign up for a course, right?
Not at all.
I didn't think so. No, I mean, absolutely no pressure at all. I mean, you're a very easy person to speak with, which is why we connect so well with the coaching program. So I'd really like to thank you for your time. Is there something, though, before we depart here, is there something that you can share with people that they could take away and use today?
You know, there's two things. The one thing when you were mentioning about even to be able to talk to me for 30 minutes, I'll give you that time just to help you through and to find out about thinking into results and learning more about it. And the nugget I really want to give you is to be grateful. Repeat daily, I am so happy and grateful now that. And create the now that, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what you want to have in your life. And when you start doing that, you're going to be amazed at how quickly you will attract things into your life.
Absolutely, yeah. Plus it changes your whole energy, doesn't it?
Your shoulders go back,
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
head comes up,
Yeah.
and you walk taller.
And
And when you're 5'3", walking taller is a great thing.
I'm not 5'3".
No, I was thinking.
Well, just further to that, if I can share a little story, I'm coaching some of the staff at our property management office, and this morning we did this exercise of gratitude, because in the field of property management, as you can well imagine, it's not a very gratifying business. You don't get a lot of tenants calling up and saying, "Thank you very much for being my landlord." That just does not happen. And one of our staff was just saying that she was having to do these unit inspections. There was 52 units she was inspecting, and there was only 2 or 3 people that she felt really good about going into their space. And on the flip side, there was only 2 or 3 that were really bad, and the rest were sort of neutral. But guess what she was focusing on? The bad, and how bad things were. And I said, well, let's be grateful for the ones who were good. And let's send them a note thanking them for the opportunity to inspect their property and give them kudos for having their place so nice, and encourage that, more of that, the exercise of gratitude. And she just had this dumbfounded look on her face, said, yes, absolutely, I get that.
So true.
Yeah. So it's a great way to implement it right away.
Yeah, because the more you focus on a thing, the more you attract it to you. So
Absolutely.
that's one of the things. Gratitude's huge. Be grateful, be thankful, attract the good that you want in your life to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So just before we wrap up, I just want to remind everybody that if you want different results in your life, then you have to take different actions. And one of the actions that I highly recommend you take is to seek out the help, the guidance, the insight of a coach and a mentor, to learn not only from all the positive things that they've gained in their life, but all of the mistakes they've made as well. I mean, I share more mistakes than I can shake a stick at, but those are great lessons for people to learn from, things not to do. So it's a great process to go through with a coach and or a mentor. strongly urge you to visit the website that I have provided you in the lesson and check out Louise's website. Reach out to her, talk to her, no pressure. She's a wonderful person to talk to. Again, thank you very much for spending this time with me, Louise. And to you, we'll see you at the top.
Have a great day.